Hello everyone, I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial Mom. In today's video, we are here to recap 90 Day Fiancé the other way, Season 2, Episode 12, The Parent Trap. And I'm curious to find out the conclusion of Devon and Jihoon. So, let's get into the review.
So that's exactly who we're starting with, Devon and Jihoon. So we pick back up with Drusilla taking off running. And, didn't you see Jihoon just running past everybody?
Yeah, I said he was running like Flash.
But how come the grandma caught her and not Jihoon? Devon said, go get her, go get her. Jihoon stopped and said, stop yelling at me. So the grandma caught up to Drusilla, right? After all of that, the mom was like, why did you do that? She could have ran in the street, all this other stuff. They are putting the blame on everything Jihoon does, from the apartment to the money to Drusilla running off. Weren't you watching your own daughter too? Was the grandma watching Drusilla? You put her down for a minute, she takes off running. So now Devon and her mom go up to the apartment because they're just over it, right? Mm-hmm. So they're discussing like, I just don't know. How can you trust him, this and that? Devon decides to go back and talk to Jihoon. And he's on the sidewalk, he's sitting there crying. I mean, he's just emotional because everything is on his shoulders now. He's feeling like, I can't do anything right. So Devon takes the app and is like, well, you can be free if you want to be free. You don't have to do this if you're not ready to be a father. I mean, how many times does she need to tell him that? Because eventually, he may call your bluff. So he says to her, you know what? I want to be a family. This is what I want. So Devon's like, okay, well, I accept your apology, but my mom might be a little harder, right? So while they're talking, Jihoon mom comes over and she's trying to say, what's going on? But he gets up like a man and says, go ahead, mom. We're trying to talk as an adult, as the two of us. And I'm happy that Jihoon did that because he's never did that before because mom truly was always in their business, right?
I was hoping the mom would actually be in the business this time because I just felt like Devon and her mom were once again out of line. Because how was everything Jihoon's fault? Mm-hmm. It's not his fault that her daughter decided to go run off and go into the street. But I just didn't understand why, once again, Devon was throwing back in his face. So, if you don't want to do this, I'll go back to America, the same spiel that she always does.
Yeah.
And then Devon's mom butting in and saying, I'm not going to accept your apology. You're not man enough. It's only been 6 days and you failed.
She said that, but what she said was, you let her run off in the street in Korea. Are you kidding me? She could have run off in the street in Utah or wherever you're from. I'm sure this is not the first time Drusilla has run off. So that with her mom saying that just goes to show how she's not culturally sensitive. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't necessarily want Devon to be here with Jihoon, period. And I was just over it with Devon and her mom because you know what?
It took you to episode 12 to be over it. I'm just surprised it took you this long.
That's the first time that someone really got me like that. But moving on, we have Binyam and Ariella. So Binyam meets up with his family to discuss how things are going with Ari and her mom, and things are going better. But you know what? I think Binyam tries to sugarcoat it a little bit for the family and for Ari. He's not really telling the truth, and I do think there's just a little bit more going on that we not knowing from his ex in that relationship too.
Of course he sugarcoats everything. In his words, it's little white lies.
Well, the family said, we like Ari and we don't want anything to happen that's happened before with your ex because you see what happened with that. Like, they're having a hard time knowing that things could happen with Ari, like taking the baby back. That happened before, and they're saying to him, like, we hope you have it together now, and does she trust you? Does she know where your job is? He's like, well, yeah, I told her I was honest, and as long as I'm honest, she seems to go along with that. Okay, so, Binyam,
you got a bone to pick with him
You
too?
might be yes, you might be being honest, but I don't think you're honest completely because, again, we don't really know the reason why the ex went. It just can't be because you were dancing in a nightclub with your other ex. Just saying. Well, the family wants Binyam to get the baby baptized and be part of their religion, part of the Ethiopian culture, and be part of the community. And the thing that Binyam knows is that Ari is Jewish, and so she may not necessarily take to the Christian religion because they're Orthodox and they want the baby to be Christian as well as the family. So he has to tell that to Ari to see how she's going to accept things.
I thought that this was one of the most interesting parts of the episode because Ari was willing to go to the church, just to see it out, because if he wants the baby to be baptized, she doesn't see a problem with it because her mom is Roman Catholic and her dad is Jewish. So she's like, I'll go see, I'll try it out. But the catch is, the priest said, the baby can't be sucking on nothing else but a Christian booby. I was like, he could just take some powdered milk or something. He don't have to, get the lactation.
You just missed the whole entire point.
I was thinking over it because why does she have to be baptized for the baby to be baptized? How come it just can't be the baby and the father just to be baptized?
That's part of their religion. They want the mother to be baptized. So when the baby comes out, he'll be able to suck on a Christian breast and it's all good. I guess that's just how they see things, not the powder. Well, again, like you said, Ari is willing to compromise, but after she got the translations, what was happening, once they left outside the church,
she wasn't here for it.
She wasn't here for it anymore. She was like, oh, well, I'll think about it. It's not like something I really want to do, but she's going to take it into consideration because she loves Binyam and doesn't want to cause any additional conflict that they've already had to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back with Kenny and Armando. So the engagement went through. They're back inside for the dinner with Kenny's daughters and Armando's friends. And they are all happy and elated, especially Armando. He's like, did you know it's going to happen? He's like, no, I was surprised. I believe he was surprised. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I mean, if Kenny moved to Mexico for you, you would think that to start a life and to move from your family and all this, something was bound to happen, right?
Well, not a ring that fast. Well, we already knew, 90 Day Fiancé style. Of course it was, but maybe not to Armando.
One of the questions that came up is, how do you think Hannah would feel about this? And Armando says, well, we talk to her every day on FaceTime and she knows who Kenny is and she's excited to be a family with us too. Because remember, before Armando said that he was going to get her to come live with them after they got things set up, right? Mm-hmm. So she's ready, she knows, so now they're engaged. And also, Kenny is saying to Armando, like, so how do you think your parents are going to feel because you're an engaged man now? And Armando's like, I hope they'll be happy. I'm happy. But Armando knows deep down, his parents need time to get with this relationship in general, not just engagement, this relationship being with the man. Mm-hmm. And Kenny keeps pressing the issue. And I didn't like that. He already knows because Armando told you how things were. Kenny is determined to think that just because Armando has a ring, that his parents will be more accepting in the family. That's not the case.
Do you think so?
I do. With Kenny being pushy, yeah, because Kenny's used to being more free with his relationships and more free with his sexuality versus Armando, who's had to hide things for years and years, even when he was married. So it's just going to be a big commotion, I think, when they do finally meet the parents. I do believe Hannah will be more accepting. Of course, it's Hannah. Mm-hmm. But the family, I don't know, because the mom was really on the edge about him leaving to be with a man, even his sister. So there's a bit more emotion involved with Armando and his family.
I think that Kenny is now going to want to put more pressure on Armando, and not even just pressure, but I can even see like a time limit on when he's gonna tell his parents about everything that's been happening going on, because Kenny moved his entire life plus his dog to Mexico. Yep. For him. So now, I don't know, it kind of feels like Kenny is making Armando feel obligated to do so. That's the energy that I'm getting.
Now we're back in India with Jenny and Sumit. Where have they been? I miss them, actually. I wonder what they've been up to.
Nothing.
Well, they're sprucing up their home. They're painting. They're fixing things up. While they're painting, you know what? Sumit drops a bombshell. He got a call from his brother and said that his parents wanted to meet up with him and Jenny to talk.
That's not really a bombshell. His brother was already trying to set it up, or in my analysis, set them up with the talk that was already supposed to be happening. So I'm not really surprised that it's going to happen. I was just surprised that Jenny said that she's so traumatized about what happened the last time, because for the past few episodes, she just seemed like she was so confident what she was saying with the relationship, like she was about it. So I was like, Jenny, you're traumatized? I thought you was going to be ready for whatever.
No, because you even acknowledged a couple episodes ago, like, Jenny, don't you remember what happened?
I didn't think she did, but I guess she did.
Well, Jenny remembers what happened, and she doesn't want to meet the parents in person because she's like, well, what if they keep me there or trap me there? Like, what will they do to you, So she's concerned, but Sumit says, I want to talk to my parents so I can let them know how much I love you, the divorce is going through, and I don't want any problems when we do get married. But I hope they meet because that's going to be very, very interesting.
I hope they meet too. And even though it's not going to be at their house that's 2 hours away, I still feel like the parents are going to find a way to their house sooner or later. So for our last couple is Brittany and Jason. And this is the day that we get to see everybody meet up. The uncle, the parents, Brittany and Jason. I didn't think that Brittany was going to be there, but she was. I was like, And she was dressed. You weren't surprised that she was there?
Yeah, she got to keep up the facade for now.
Well, of course, the main question is, when is Brittany and Jason going to get married? The dad is still pushing it. He's saying, if these two people like each other, they need to be married immediately.
Right. No boyfriend, no girlfriend, none of that. The mama's like, we need a legal marriage. Mm-hmm. We need a legal marriage. But the uncle said they need time to get to know each other. Mm-hmm. And just all these little things to make them think like, there's too many couples that break up in our culture and everything like that. And then one of the questions that was most interesting. So, when's your father coming? Because she said she needed more time for her dad to come. And once it was translated, she's like, oh, maybe a month or two or in a month. And I'm like, that's a lie. He's not coming at all.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's a lie. It's the conversation. Overall, the uncle was really
helpful.
The peace, the voice of reason that Jason really said that he was, because I didn't think he was going to convince the mom. The dad, yes. The mom, But eventually, when Jason was explaining, Brittany only thinks Islam is about the hijab, but it's more than that. It's cultures, it's traditions. She just needs a little bit more time to learn. And the next time that her dad does come back in a month or two, we're gonna get married. And if it doesn't happen then it's over. So the father agreed. He's like, you know what? I want my son to be happy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with it. But in the back of my mind, I already knew the mom wasn't feeling it at all.
And in the front of my mind, I'm like, why, Brittany? Why are you still doing this? Why are you playing games? Because she even said in her confessional at the end, like, I didn't want things to end up like my ex-husband. He's not your ex yet because you're not divorced. Mm-hmm. And how do you think things are going to work out when they find out that you're not divorced? So I just don't get this.
That was her biggest question. She said, I just need a little bit more time to tell them because I don't know how they're going to react.
I'm just going to give Brittany the mom look.
It's just not, I don't even have words for it. All right, everyone. So that was the end of this week's episode. Once again, it wasn't really too much going on, but whenever that meetup between Jenny and Sumit and his parents happens, I'm going to be front row center with some popcorn because I need to see this in person. What are you waiting for, Mom?
I'm waiting for a lot of stuff. I mean, Jenny and Sumit always. Because just the history of her going to India. But Brittany and Jason, I'm just curious to know how Brittany thinks she's going to get out of this entanglement.
Well, let us know what you guys thought about this week's episode and what else you're waiting for in the upcoming episodes. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. You share this video to other people who watch 90 Day Fiancé and all the other franchises that come along with it. We do plan on going live this Sunday at 1 p.m. West Coast time, and I didn't even need to wear this shirt.
Thank you all for watching, and as always, live simply, be grateful.